Hi, I'm Molly.
And I'm Jamie, and this is our From the Pasture with Hired Hand podcast. As the owners of Hired Hand website software, we've been developing websites and creating internet marketing strategies for livestock breeders for the past 10 years.
The majority of our customers are involved in the breeding of registered animals, such as Texas Longhorns, Highland cattle, horses, and white-tailed deer, where the pedigrees are very important. The From the Pasture with Hired Hand podcast examines many of the differences in raising pedigreed livestock for maximum profit. Join us and learn what we're covering today.
Well, hi, Scott. Thanks for joining us today to talk about the 2024 Oregon Trail Sale.
You bet. I'm looking forward to talking with you.
So for those people that may not know you, I know you and Amelia try to make it to quite a few events throughout the year, considering you're in Oregon. Can you introduce yourself and talk to people how long you've had Longhorns and all things?
Sure. So my name is Scott Picker, and my wife Amelia and I own A&S Land and Cattle. We've been in the business for 13 years now, and you're right, we have been to quite a few sales lately. We love going to them. We have kind of what we call a Longhorn addiction, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. We love the Longhorn industry, and a few years ago we started the Oregon Trail Sale. We took over the Phase Sale because they were kind of done with doing it, and they talked us into keeping the tradition going.
And so you took it over from Phase a few years ago. How long did Phase have the sale?
So that sale was predated even, I think, the Phase. It used to be the Northwest Longhorn Association would put it on at an auction yard. And I think the auction yard closed down. And so it was either going to lose it then or the Phase were going to take it on. So the Phase took it on over at their ranch. And I want to say they did that for a good 7 or 8 years. And then they thought it was time for us to be up for the challenge.
Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about last year's sale a little bit, and then we'll jump into this year's sale. You had quite a few. You had a really good sale last year. I think, if I remember right, there were at least 3 cash cows and several others that came really close to being cash cows.
Yeah, we didn't have any really, really ridiculously high selling lots, over 100,000, but we had a very consistent group of them going for quite a bit of money. I think overall people were very happy with the prices they got, and people were also happy with purchasing. So it was it's always a win-win when those things happen.
Yep. And it seems like every year you build on what you had previously. And so last year you built onto your barn and you had a cover for the audience to sit in the ring, the sale ring. And I think this year you're also building onto the barn again.
Yes, which is not good. It's not supporting my bad Longhorn habit. Now I have more room for more cows. So last year we added on 100 by 48 kind of section for the show ring and things like that. And then because we had such great sponsorship for the Futurity, there's a lot more Futurity animals coming this year. So we added on to the other end of the barn, 200 feet by 48. So it's kind of exciting. Everything will be covered. It's nice, and it will all be done. We pretty much finished the barn this week.
Oh, good deal. And I think last year also was maybe the first year for your cornhole tournament.
The cornhole tournament, yes, and it was a lot of fun. So it is backed by popular demand, and we actually have pre-purchased some really nice awards, and maybe some that aren't so nice, but that's okay. It is a fun time. It's one more thing that adds to the quirkiness or the fun of our sale. We try to be a little bit different, and everybody's got their own thing going on with their sale. We like to make ours fun. We still want really good animals, but we want people to enjoy it, and then kind of mix it with a vacation. I mean, if there's something to get people over here, it's beautiful this time of year. And so we always think that A lot of these guys want to get out of the heat. They can come to Oregon and enjoy, do some nice wine tasting, eat some nice food. We're close to the ocean. We're close to the mountains. Probably the temperatures are going to be in the low 80s, upper 70s. It'll be about perfect.
Nice. So let's jump in and we'll talk about this year's sale. What's the date and the time?
Okay, so the date is June 22nd at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we've got 60 lots this year. We limited it to 60. We had 65 last year, and we thought that was a little bit too many. So we're limited to 60. And then the night before will be the Futurity of the West.
So the location of the sale is, like you said, at your ranch, and it's just outside of Dundee. Is that right?
Yeah, we're 3 miles away from downtown Dundee, which Dundee is not a big city. So if you search for that, the closer big cities is we're right between McMinnville, Oregon, and Newberg, Oregon. And it's just kind of a little wine country community, just a little pocket community of about 2,000 people.
So let's run over the full schedule of events for everybody. Let's start with Thursday.
So Thursday, the cattle get to come into town. We have we're starting early. Anytime on Thursday, people can come and bring them. And then that night, what we're doing this year is we are going to have we've got our pizza oven at our house, and so we're going to cook pizzas for everyone that consigned or is judging or just happens to be in town that night. So we're going to kind of have a cornhole get together / pizza eating. That way people can practice up that are serious about their cornhole abilities. So that's on Thursday. And then on Friday, we kind of kick off the day with the wine tour. And of course there's cattle viewing all day that day, but the wine tour starts at 9:45. Don't worry, we're not alcoholics. We don't start drinking until around after 10 sometimes, so it's fine. And that'll go until about 2 p.m. Meanwhile, people that aren't on the wine tour can practice cornhole. They can view the cows. There probably will be some late arrivers during that time, and Shane, my ranch manager, will be there to unload people. But at 3 p.m., we have kind of a fun thing going on. We're going to have a raising grass-fed beef seminar. One of the sponsors, the $10,000 sponsor for the Bull Futurity, is Twisted Horn, and they are going to put on a raising grass-fed beef seminar based on Longhorns and what their research has been. There's been a lot of research behind it with this group, and they want to just kind of try to create a universal product. So they wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit. I think it'll be great because it also opens up some of the people out there for selling their beef to this guy. So it would be a great opportunity for both him to get a more consistent product and for us to be able to get rid of our culls. So that was at 3 p.m. And then at 4 p.m., we start the Futurity of the West. And that'll be a lot of fun this year. Again, the $10,000 heifer first prize. Bull first prize, a $5,000 heifer grand champion. And then, of course, you always get your lot payouts or your class payouts as well. When that is over, at 7 p.m., we host A&S Land and Cattle is going to host a dinner at the ranch and the cornhole tournament. And this year we're mixing it up a little bit. We're going to go with a Hawaiian luau theme. So it should be pretty fun, something a little different. We always like to mix it up. So it'll be fun. And then we'll give out some awards during that time as well.
And what time does everything get started on Saturday?
So Saturday, we have cattle viewing starting at 8 a.m. And we have our much requested taco cart people coming back to make breakfast burritos and breakfast tacos. So they'll be there from 8 o'clock on. And then the Oregon Trail Sale kicks off at 11 a.m. And again, this is Pacific time. So we're trying to get it to where it wasn't too late in the day for people from the East Coast. And then after the sale, of course, we'll allow people to load out and go home if they want. But we also have a dinner at a local restaurant where we've kind of negotiated a simpler menu, but it's great food and everyone's invited to come to that. We do encourage people to RSVP because we only take the first 50. And the same is true of the wine tour. Only 50 people are allowed, and even that's pushing it. But most of these wineries are our friends, and so we've negotiated space.
And then what time do you want, or would you like to have all the cows out on Sunday?
Sunday, we try to get them out by 11 a.m., but if there are people staying in town and doing things, we're pretty flexible. It's a great grass year for us, so we have lots of hay. So we're willing to hold them throughout the day on that day. They might have to self-load toward the end of the day if they're not there soon enough, but we'd like them out by 11, but if people communicate with us ahead of time, we can make other arrangements.
Okay. And is there still room for the wine tour and the dinner on Saturday night if people are still interested?
There are 8 spots left on the wine tour, and then I think the dinner on Saturday night, there are still 11 spots open.
Okay.
So they do want to contact myself or Amelia or Angelina Fay. And the contact information is in the catalog, but you can also just email us at A&S Land and Cattle.
Perfect. So the sale day contacts, who should people get with if they have questions?
So you can always contact me, Scott Picker, and my number is 503-572-5656. If I don't answer, Amelia is always more dependable, and her number is 503-680-2564. And then if we're just dropping off cattle and you don't want to bother us, Shane Robinson is our ranch manager, and his number is 503-381-6844.
Who is going to be there as the pedigree reader and the auctioneer this year?
Okay, so the auctioneer is going to be Dan Huntington, and then the pedigree reader was going to be Chase, but he's got a dog issue, so we are going to have Ryan Culpepper do it. He's worked before with Dan, so we're good there. So that'll be and then our sales office manager is going to be Joe Sedlacek.
Very nice. Do you have haulers available for those people that buy at the sale that need help catching a ride?
We do. We've already lined up 2 professional haulers, Cody James and Dino Libhart, and their numbers are also in the sale catalog. But we also have, there are some ranches that are coming and they're going to go back with semi-empty trailers. So there are some ranches that are consigning from Texas that will probably have room on the way back. I've already heard a couple of people reach out to a couple of the guys saying if they were interested, they'd be willing to haul on their way back. So there are opportunities for hitching a ride, but there's also opportunities just to call Cody James and Dino Libhart.
And for those people that don't know, if they're going to contact Cody, it's best if you text only for Cody.
Yes, that is correct.
Love what you're hearing? Be sure to check out our Pickup Truck Confessions.
It's a video series where we hop in the truck or rental car and interview a variety of breeders about what drives their passion for their livestock, how they got started in the breed of their choice, marketing tips, and more.
And now, back to the podcast.
All right, let's talk about the consigners. As I was looking over the list this year, it looks like I'm seeing quite a few new names on the list of consigners.
There are, and I think that kind of says something for the direction our sale is going. We're finding we're going to a lot of these sales and talking to people and getting interest out there across the United States, which was fun. I mean, we have cows coming from Maryland, Texas, Utah, Oklahoma. It's pretty exciting. And then, out of nowhere, I got a call from Diamond B just saying, hey, we'd like to put in some really nice cows. And I said, that's a long haul. They better be nice. And sure enough, they were just beauties. Jay Wachner is coming all the way from Maryland with something. And then he's also got an embryo package for us. So it's pretty exciting. There's a lot of interest from Utah. So that was good. And, it's kind of a median point for us. So that was great to see them coming from, it's still a long drive for them, but it's good. I love it.
Well, and I think this year she's always been at your sale, but I think this might be her first year that she's consigning on her own without her dad, and it's Shiloh, Jason Hardy's daughter. Is that right?
Yes, I love it because, I think Jason is going to be outdone eventually by Shiloh. She's pretty sharp with her pedigree. She knows what she's looking for. Oftentimes, it'll be like myself and Amelia. I'll be asking my wife, oh, what about the pedigree on this one? I see Jason doing the same with his daughter, and it's kind of cool seeing how much success she's having. So I hope she has a lot of success this coming week, and I think she's got a good one in there.
Well, should we get started and talk about the consignments?
Sure, you bet.
So you said you have 60 lots this year. Do you have any updates or scratches that people should be aware of?
There are going to be quite a few, of course, horn measuring updates. I'm encouraging people the consigners to put updated pictures because, when we have to take our pictures is in January, February, March, and it's not the best time. So I was at Tim Clark's, and his heifer that he has in our sale, she just looked like a young, small heifer. She's this beautiful bred heifer now, and I'm like, wow, the photographer needs to be fired. Well, it was him, so whoops. But she looks great now, and I think that's going to be a lot of the people are going to find that the quality of the animals will be even better in person, just because of the time of year these pictures had to be taken. As far as scratches, we have had 0 scratches, which is awesome, I think, and no subs that I know of thus far. So it makes my life a lot easier. And as you know, running a company, it's a lot easier when people don't make changes. So so far, so good. If there are, we are trying to encourage the consigners to tell us as soon as possible so we can get some marketing out there for whatever updated animal they have.
And as I was looking through the catalog this year, it looks like you have a couple special lots in the catalog that aren't animals. I think there's at least one embryo and then maybe some semen as well.
Yeah, so we have a really great offering from Jay Wachter. He put in an embryo package. It's a guaranteed heifer embryo from WT Kid Rock and RC Smoking Hot Amber. So that's pretty exciting. And again, that's guaranteed heifer. I believe it's in a beef cow and it's due in June. So, it may even be born before the sale. Who knows? We'll keep that updated, but that's an interesting package. And then the McIntyres, they put in a semen package, 5 straws of 50/50 BCB. So that's pretty exciting too. And it's an easy one for people that aren't around or don't want to mess with shipping to be able to get their animal or their genetics on that 50/50 BCB package. Another really cool offering, I think, Diamond B gave us LLL Pretty Lady, and she's 106 inches now. What an awesome cow to put in the sale. So that one's pretty exciting. Tons of really high quality cows this year. I put in one that I thought was just going to be great. I wanted to attract people's attention, and now she's only in the upper middle. I can't believe the quality of the cows we got this year. So that's really awesome. I really appreciate that consigners are trusting us to sell their animals and bring good ones.
Well, should we talk about the top 5 viewed animals so far online?
Sure. What do we got?
You want to take a stab at who you think maybe the top 5 are?
Well, I'm pretty sure that LLL Pretty Lady is going to be one of them just because that's such an impressive tip-to-tip measurement.
Yep, she's the number 1 viewed lot. She's lot 34 for those people that want to take a look at her.
Awesome. So who else is up there?
Well, should we start with? We'll start with number 5. The 5th most viewed is lot 3, CR Dark Pearl from Alex D's.
Oh, just a great horn twist. One of the advantages that I have is putting together the catalog and everything. I get to see these cows and even sometimes go to the ranch and pick them out. Alex Dees put a great one in with that horn set and everything. What an incredible cow.
And then the fourth most viewed is Lot 1, DB Black Diamond from Diamond B.
We're trying to start the sale out with a bang, and I think that's the one to do it. So cross our fingers. I know it's always a risky spot, but that is a great offering. I don't think people are going to ignore that one.
The third most viewed is Lot 13, BH Purdy, again by Diamond B Cattle.
Yep. My wife's going to hate to hear that because I think she has her heart set on that one.
All right. And then coming in at number 2 is Lot 51, LVR Sweet Sunshine from DCT Cattle.
Yes, that is. Wow. That's one big cow. That is pretty exciting. And she's got some really good online bidding too. So I think they're going to do really well with that girl.
And then again, the most viewed animal is Lot 34, LLL Pretty Lady from Diamond B.
Yep. Well, when you put a cow in that's over 100 inches, you better get her viewed quite a bit, right?
Right. You know, as I was looking through the catalog of all the different consignments, I was really surprised this year. There was no mad scientist lot from Bob Larson at all. He's usually really good at those.
There is one at the very end from him, toward the very end, and she's really well bred and she's got some awesome offspring. So I think, he's putting his eggs in that basket. I love it. He is, Bob, isn't that far away from us, and he's just such a good guy. I'm kind of glad that he's not putting Dan through his mismatch of 5 generations in the cell ring at one time. So that's kind of nice. And maybe he can relax a little bit that way.
There we go. Okay, so we briefly touched on the Futurity. We know that the Futurity is going to be Friday night at 4 p.m. But can you talk to us a little bit more about the Futurity with how many classes and entries?
Sure. There are only 3 bull classes because we don't like them to get too old. Because again, we're trying to say this is the future of our industry, so we're trying to make a guess at that point. And when they're too old, you already know what they're doing, right? So this is kind of more of a gamble. But the gamble isn't that great because there's only 22 bulls entered in our Futurity, and it's a $10,000 grand prize payout, plus the class payouts. That's a pretty good return on your investment, thanks to Twisted Horn LLC. So that's pretty exciting. And then in the heifer classes, there are 7 heifer classes, and again, McIntyre Farms have ponied up $5,000 for the Grand Champion heifer. So that one's pretty darn good too. There are 48 heifers, I believe, in our Futurity, and they're coming from all over the place. It's pretty awesome. I keep challenging McIntyres by saying, they have a heifer that's killing it all over the country. I said, well, when she gets to Oregon, she's going to have some competition, so you better be ready. And they are. There's some good ones in there. So it'll be pretty exciting to see how all of that plays out.
So who do you have for judges this year?
So this year for judges, we have Charlotte and Guy Cody, and they are from, I'm blanking on where they're from. It's the East Coast. But I didn't want anyone from around this area. I didn't want anyone to be tainted or anything like that. But we are having a lot of cows from all over the place, so I guess it didn't matter too much. But so Charlotte and Guy will be a husband and wife team. And then we have Jay Wachter. He'll be judging. We have Sean Hamilton from Texas, who will be judging, and Philip Newkirk from Texas, who will be judging.
Nice. And then the awards will be still on Friday night at the dinner at your ranch, correct?
That is correct. Yes. So those will be given out Friday night, along with the cornhole tournament winner and all that stuff. And that way, the next day, we're only focused on the sale.
So let's talk about the sponsors for your sale and give them a shout out.
Okay. Love it. We had a lot of people step up this year for our sponsorship. And so I'm going to hit some of the creative ones first. So Diamond B Ranch are the Honey Bucket sponsors. So that they will be seen often by some, seldom by others. But we actually are not having just your crappy porta potty. It's a real nice air-conditioned unit with music and everything else. So we want to thank Diamond B Cattle for that. And all the ladies will be appreciative, I'm sure. And then the fun thing is, and this is a new sponsor, and they came to us with this. So Northwest Veterinary Reproductive Services, which is Dr. Rebecca Jacob and her husband Wesley Hodge, they came up with the idea, why don't we have a live band on Friday night? And so we'll have a band playing after our awards. So that's pretty exciting. And that's a new thing. So we want to thank them. Again, we talked about our major sponsors for the Futurity, but one more shout out to McIntyre Farms for the $5,000 grand prize for the heifers, and Twisted Horn LLC, Justin Risenmay, for his generous donation of $10,000 for that Grand Champion Bull. And again, that's just high point. So whichever one is the high point, that's who gets it. And it's a great big check for the full amount. Nothing's taken out of it. Another fun one, and this is a repeat, but I really appreciate Chris Hesse. He has been the wine sponsor last year, and he's the wine tour sponsor again this year. So that's always gone off really well, and it's a lot of fun. It's one of the big pulls for our sales. So we appreciate Chris doing that, and Ryan Culpepper as well. Another kind of non-regular sponsor, but they did it last year and they're doing it again this year, is the bar sponsor, which is 6CR Longhorns. Tim and Nicole Clark, they're good friends of mine, and they have really stepped up. He said, you know what, as long as you're doing the sale, I'm always going to be the bar sponsor. So never have to worry about that position, and I really appreciate them doing that. Our bar is hosted the entire time, so it's great. And then we have 3 gold sponsors this year. A new one that I'd really like to thank is the Sillers, Siller Land and Cattle, Andrea and Max Siller. They came up to me at one of the sales and said, hey, we want to get more involved. We'd love to be a sponsor. So that was much appreciated. JH Cattle Company has sponsored in the past Jason Hardy. I should say Shiloh as well, because I'm pretty sure she helps make some of the decisions with the cattle still. But Jason has always been great to our sale. He's brought some good stuff. He's purchased some good stuff. Just what a great supporter of the Oregon Trail Sale. So I really appreciate Jason and Shiloh. And then our longtime friends, and the reason we're doing this sale, the Fays, have stepped up and become gold sponsors. And not to mention the endless hours of phone calls from Amelia and I about little things, getting their coaching and all that. But Angelina and Daniel Fay have always stepped up for us, and they do it financially, but they also do it with their advice and their words of wisdom. So we really, really appreciate that about them. And that's kind of the major sponsors. We, of course, have class sponsors for all the classes, and we'll be hitting on those during the sale. We want to make sure that during the Futurity that those people are announced each time and get credit for supporting our industry as a whole, but also the Oregon Trail Sale in particular.
Well, is there anything that we forgot to talk about that you'd like to let people know of?
Well, just how fun and awesome the Oregon Trail Sale is, and how it hasn't gone off without any hitches or things like that. But we try to keep it all behind the scenes, and the people we work with and the people that participate, it's just been awesome. I love it. It's tiring. We're almost there to the very finish end, but we don't just stop. We keep going strong at the very end as well. It's a fun event. Even if you don't get a chance to go this year, we're in it for the long haul. We'd love to see people consign, to participate, to purchase, to sale. It's just a great addition to the Longhorn family.
Well, thank you, Scott, and we will be seeing you soon here in just a few days.
I'm looking forward to it.